It's a shame that I have neither his trident nor his phantom Ganon mask, but even without those, this figure looks pretty darn awesome. First of all, he is pretty big. He is a full-on 5.5 inches tall. Pretty big for this line. And he suitably towers over the Link for this line. In fact, he's even taller than the World of Nintendo Link. And you might, based on the size of their heads, you might even be able to fudge factor in and consider him to be roughly in scale. I mean, I would still think that if World of Nintendo was ever going to make an Ocarina of Time styled Ganondorf, he'd have to hit the 6-inch mark so that he would be as tall as my Hyrule Warriors Ganon custom. But you know, if World of Nintendo never gets around to making this guy this tall, then he actually does kind of fudge himself into the scaling pretty decently. So, height comparisons out of the way, let's talk about the figure himself. Just like all the others, he kind of has a spring-loaded gimmick in the arm, although he doesn't have a switch on his back. Instead, he has like a little handle here. So I think you're supposed to his waist joint is kind of loose, so I think you're supposed to just kind of like use that handle to like swing him around, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know. Yeah. I don't know if like maybe there's a spring in there for a punch gimmick that's broken, or if you were just supposed to like swing him around and let the momentum lift his fist. Anyone who knows, let me know in the description, because I haven't really gotten any data on how his gimmick was supposed to work. He has a swivel head, of course. He has like a slight downcast look to his face. I guess it kind of makes sense since he's taller than everybody else. Although his face is pretty cool. Let's try to get a close in on that. I mean, on him, the big grin actually kind of works because it has a very sinister bend on him. Like, this is, like, he has this smarmy look that he's just looking down upon you and he knows he's better than you. Like, yeah, I'm the immortal king of the Gerudo tribe. I'm 7.5 feet tall and wield powerful magics. I can bring your entire kingdom to its knees single-handedly. And there's nothing that you can do about it. So yeah, the sinister smirk and the slight downcast angling on his face really worked to seal in his sense of superiority. He also has a really detailed sculpt and paint job for the time. Like he has these big stitchings on his gigantic biceps. The Gerudo symbology on his gauntlets, gloves, wrappings. I don't know what you call that. His big hands, which are sculpted to hold the Thief's Trident that he unfortunately didn't come with. And check out the detail on his pants and boots. I mean, look at how big his feet are. They are massive. Unfortunately, his hip has a very bad case of V-crotch, where moving it forward makes it go really far outward. Impa didn't have this bad a problem, but Ganondorf totally has a bad case of V-crotch. You can really feel it in this. Although the thigh swivel and knee bend does help. I am super thankful for this thigh swivel. And it actually has a pretty good range despite the fact that the sculpt causes it to clash with his crotch. His knee has an almost exactly 90-degree bend. And look at his massive feet! Like those gigantic feet actually allow him to stay standing even even in poses where he's practically only on one of them. So the big feet actually do help with his balance. Even the back of the figure has quite a bit of detailing going on. Yeah, like this cape is soft goods. It's a very flexible material, same as Link's skirts. Although it looks like there was a bit of paint transfer on the inside edge, and something happened to this figure on the outside edge. Although this marring here is the only real paint flaw in the figure. So, considering that it's a secondhand toy that's quite old, it's nearing its second decade of age if I'm going by the original release date of the toy. So, all things considered, he held up pretty good. I showed you his hips, knees, and thighs. He also has shoulder movement. Like I said, on this arm, it's a little bit spring-loaded. And you can move his wrists. This time, the swivel cut is right here where it can blend into the gauntlet. Between him and Impa, I'm really happy with how they're able to hide the wrist movement in with the sculpting, so you don't get an obtrusively visible joint. So for the time the figure was made, this actually is really good. And even without accessories, I'm really proud of that I was able to find him. So, like I said, finding either of these figures or any of these figures would be a monumental task these days, as they have been out of print for quite a long time, and even finding them without any of their accessories for a decent price, like finding them with all their accessories, you probably had to relegate yourself to spending at least $40 to $45 each. Finding them minced in the box, you're probably gonna have to go quite a lot more, as I showed you. But if you can find them, then yeah, they could be worth it for you. Like if you're a big fan of this. So far, I'm pretty sure that Jakks Pacific isn't planning on making either of these guys for the World of Nintendo line. If they do, I would be super happy. And Jakks Pacific, if you're gonna make this dude, he must be 6 inches tall. Like I know you haven't made any 6-inch figures since you put out the Toon Ganondorf and the Metroid, but seriously, guys, you need to revive the 6-inch aspect of the World of Nintendo line again, and you need to make this dude. That being said, they're good. They're a nice blast from the past. If anybody has the little Zelda that came with Impa by herself and you're willing to part with her, let me know in the comments. Might be interested in getting her. But aside from that, that's the trinity of the Toybiz Zelda figures. This is Wakeangel2K1, and I'm signing off.